So we are live on the third time today. I feel like I'm running a marathon, but I have the strength to finish. So today, y'all, today is ticket sales eve, as in it's ending tomorrow. Yes. What are my tickets are you talking about, Ryan? Obviously, you have been under a rock and not paying attention. I am putting on my first spoken word showcase. My first spoken word showcase. I'm trying to find the flyer. Here we go. So it is this Sunday from 6 to 8. And I have been very purposeful. And I'm going to talk more about the details of the show later. But in me scheduling my show, I definitely believe in when you have a show, you need to have vendors on hand. If you have the space, you have the space to accommodate them. I want to emphasize that because I have some more stories. So if you have the space to accommodate and allowing business owners to come in and sell their products, do so. And of course, you charge what's called a vendor fee. You have to measure how much the vendor fee will cost. Being that I've been a vendor for so long, I understand you don't want to charge too much because you want them to be able to make a profit. So I was very intentional about the vendors that I said I was going to bring on. So if you are now watching on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere, please share and let people know that we are on. And basically, I have a young lady who I'm going to add her to the stage now. Morenike, I'm saying it slowly because I want to emphasize every word, is a beautiful light. Like, you see her face, that's exactly her personality. Now she don't mind letting you know, but at the same time, she is a beautiful light that makes a beautiful, I use it's the African soap body wash, but I use it as my facial wash. It does not dry me out. And that was my hardest thing because I was one of those people. I would just go to TJ Maxx and whatever they have for $2.99 and $3.99, I would buy it. If it worked, if it didn't, I would throw it away. And then when she introduced her products, I want to say it was at Big Reds. The
Yes, the soul food talk.
Yes, so I bought the facial wash and I said I'm going to try it out. She also makes body butters. So before we even get into the awesomeness of what you do, introduce yourself. What where are you from, and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm from everywhere. I love saying that. And I'll tell you why. So I am Morenike Xi-Amaru, aka my government name, Lorinda Morenike Lennon, aka Morenike Love the Poet, aka Mama Rin. Another poet actually bestowed that lovely title upon me because Omari Fox Renard, you know Omari, because I'm always mommying somebody. If I'm not making some herbal tea, you know, preparing some kind of healthy natural foods. Basically, you tell me what your ailment is. I'm gonna figure out what you need. But yes, that is me. So I do also make body butters and body washes. The products I make for my company, Sun and Moon Naturally, are only natural products. There are some fragrances that don't have all natural products in them, but when it comes to the skincare, like my eczema cream, the liquid black soap that Ryan was speaking of, and even the fragranced body butters, I use essential oils in those. I heard your interview with Malika Daniels earlier, and she and I had that conversation about how we have a hard time finding natural products on the market. You're not going to find all natural products on the shelves because they add chemicals to extend the shelf life. That's the reality, because I have searched and searched and searched. This is why when you are looking for those specialized products, you're going to get it from these smaller business vendors like myself and find them in, sometimes unusual places.
Oh my gosh. So you just something that definitely emphasized what I just said and what Malika was saying earlier, is that The reality is, some of you, if you're looking at health and your skin and really read the ingredients that they put in these things, you will find yourself, if I can make it, I can make it. But if I can find someone who makes it, let me go ahead and go with that, because you're supporting small businesses. And I really don't like to use the word small business, but the reality is, I know it's based on a price point, but I truly believe what they're making is a big impact. And I am definitely, like, matter of fact, this weekend, I've been slowly squeezing out the bottle because I'm going to make sure I make it to Sunday. But I definitely need to re-up on my soap. When you finally find something that works, I'm rocking with you for life. So it's just one of those things. So what made you start? Matter of fact, let me go before I get into that question. I know some people are making comments. So we have Megan Joseph, Megan Joseph, y'all, is my editor. She's the one who helped me understand my voice when it comes to being a fiction writer. So she helped me put out Reverse. Even though I wanted to put out Reverse 20,000 years ago, she was like, no, we're not rushing through this process. So she asked, how can we support her business? So if y'all look on the screen, you see her handles there, Morenike. You see her whole name there, Sun and Moon Ministry Facebook, Sun Moon Naturally on Instagram, or Sun Moon Ministry on Instagram, and Morenike Love Poet. So for those of you who are on TikTok, you will spell it Morenike, Love the Poet, and then Sun Moon Naturally or Sun Moon Ministry on Instagram for those of you who are on TikTok. So definitely look her up so you can support her and get some awesome stuff. So when did you start? Put that up real quick and then put up the banner real quick. I'm still learning how to press buttons and how to work this. So when did you start? Was this something that came out of need for you? Like, when did you start making your own products?
That's exactly what it was. It came out of need for me. Let's see. I was in my 20s, a little ways back, and I just.
Well, she doesn't look like it though.
Thank you. I'm working on keeping it that way. I want to look the same age for the next 20 years if possible. My journey, actually my health journey, started back in my early 20s, somewhat in my late teens in high school, but I started to pick up some books and just read up on some things about natural healing and eating healthier and just changing your whole mindset of what health and nutrition really is. And you know, I've learned so many different things, and even that's changing because there's always new information out there. But what was always consistent was, why not utilize things that are already naturally provided for us? Mm-hmm. You know, these things are here for a reason. And mm-hmm. I'd experiment and try not eating certain things for a little bit and then eating the things that we were told were healthier. And I paid attention to the difference in how my body felt. And later on in my 20s, I started realizing, oh my goodness, it's not just what we're taking into our bodies, it's what we're putting on our bodies that are affecting us. And I think it was a good probably 10, 15 years or so where I wrecked my brain looking, and every time something said it was natural, it's got shea butter in it, it's got aloe and olive oil and yada, yada, yada. What happens is, you know, certain things become popular in the moment. Mm-hmm. And so the industry catches on, whether it's big pharma or the cosmetic industry or whomever, even the food industry, you know, mm-hmm. everything is marketed based on what's popular at that time. And so I started realizing there were so many chemicals in everything. I mean, everything. So I said, no, something's got to give. And what really sparked my, not just interest, but gave me a sense of urgency was when I became pregnant with my daughter, Isis. oh, my whole world changed then. I said, no, I have got to find a healthier way to live. So in my 20s, I started dabbling in some things and just making some blends. And I started locking my own hair. So I locked my hair myself the first and third or fifth time or whatever. But I wanted to use something natural in my hair. That's how I started. I started doing facials for myself with just food, basically. And I read that if you can ingest it safely, then you can put it on your skin and in your hair.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's the key. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So when exactly did you decide to launch this into a brand and put it out there and market it and sell it?
This was actually, I started to try right around 2020. 2020 was an interesting year. Everybody wanted to branch off and be independent and do something new so that we didn't have to go back to the old things we were dependent on that clearly were not serving us very well. And then, this is bad. I should know exactly what year I actually, 2021. Oh, there's a whole nother story behind that. But in 2021 is when I actually established Sun and Moon. And then I had to change the name. So in 2022 is when Sun and Moon Naturally was actually birthed as a brand. So I have Sun and Moon Ministry as well, where I provide energy healing services like Reiki and emotion code healing. Y'all can just visit the site and get some more info on that or message me. But one of the things I learned in practicing Reiki healing is that you can energy transfers. Energy is just everywhere. It's in us, it's outside of us, it's around us. So you can put healing energy into the products that you make. It's just like when you eat food, soul food, and you say, oh, I know this was made with love. She put love into this thing. I put love into my products because I want people to experience the healing benefits. I've definitely done my research and I'm still researching. I mean, this is a regular thing. I look at what particular herbs and essential oils are good for certain things. And then I play around with the portions. I use it on myself first every time to see if it really works. So yeah, about 2022 is when Sun and Moon Naturally was actually birthed. And basically my daughter Isis and a couple of friends of hers said, because I would always just make stuff for people, not thinking to make money from it. Ma, you should sell this. I was like, really? You think so?
I can hear her saying that.
You can hear it, right? Yeah, that's how she sounds. And this was probably about 2018, 2019 when she said I should start selling things. But I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that. Nah, it was necessary. It was necessary. And the feedback I get tells me that it was necessary. So that's pretty much how it started.
So was there anything, you said you were first making it for other people and then your daughter and her friends encouraged you. Was there anything you had to push past to get to the place of even putting the products out there? I ask that because one of the things that's reoccurring with certain people that I hear is that they weren't even sure if they wanted to put their product out there or they were afraid it wasn't going to be successful. Was there anything you had to get past to put yourself out there, and what were some of those things and how did you get past it?
The biggest thing was my own self-doubt. There were definitely fears, not fear of success, but fear of failure. And I had to get my pep talks from entrepreneurs that I knew. I have entrepreneurs in my family. I come from a line of entrepreneurs, actually. So, getting advice from them to figure out, how did you even find the bravery to put yourself out there? And also, how do you launch a product without going broke? And whoo, yeah. That's a rough one right there. And it varies so much. You hear it takes 5 years to actually turn a profit when you start a business, which is true. It's taking a while, but that's okay. And then also just really knowing how to be more organized about how you prepare your products. I heard you saying before on another one of your podcast installments that you asked a lot of questions. You have to ask a lot of questions. And good business really so truly is about building relationships. You can't focus so much on how much money you're making or gonna make. You have to focus on what was my original purpose for this in the first place.
Say that again.
Okay.
Say that again.
Focus on your original purpose for doing what you're doing in the first place. Because what you don't want is to feel that everything is a loss and a deficit. You want to know that, hey, you know what? At least I got my name out there. I got my product out there. The best thing for me is when I get feedback and someone tells me that my products actually work for them and that they're going to tell other people about it. It makes me feel so good. It's like when you make a meal and you're judging yourself like, that's probably not that good. But people tell you they want seconds and they're excited about how good the food is. That's how I feel when people give me feedback about my products actually working. And so I know that they're feeling the loving energy that I put into it. So I was fearful of failure. I was fearful of going broke. I was fearful of the criticisms, people saying, well, who did she think she is? What are your credentials? All of that craziness. But then you start looking at who's actually making money and how they started, and they weren't experts on anything, most of them. No, they just had a great idea and they were clever enough to figure out how to make it go viral or make sure that it got attention. But again, they also built relationships.
So it's so many things I want to reiterate that what she said. Number one, ask questions. Like one of the reasons I'm so glad, as much as it took me, when I was first told I should publish a book, that was like 2000. I didn't really do it because I was afraid of because at that time, and I want to say she quoted me like $500. At the time, I was like, that was a lot of money to me. Fresh out of college, got a new job. So then finally, as I started working the process, I want to say around 2018, I'm like, no, 2014, 2013 is when I really started pursuing it and seeing what different avenues I want to do. And I'm so glad I did not do it immediately, because one of the mistakes I'm constantly hearing from different people, and I've been talking about on several posts, is people automatically go to Amazon because Amazon will do this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, not realizing that Amazon is capitalizing on your book, especially if you buy your own ISBN number. They technically own that book, and they have the rights to redistribute how they feel like it and can price it how they feel like it. So it was like I was so glad I waited to learn more and more about that. Crystal just chimed in. Hey y'all! So thank you so much, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
Just represents light. So, and then another thing that you said that has honestly been echoing every single Women in Business episode that we've had so far is, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, you're going to build as you go. And like one thing I would even strongly recommend is any business owner or anyone who wants to partake in a business, research famous failures. Research famous failures, because you will see the number of people that, even though I don't like to use this example because he's done some crazy things, Walt Disney, he would have listened to people and told him that he couldn't do what he do. Let me go with a Black Girl Magic. Oprah Winfrey, I think, was fired from her job as a reporter. And here this woman has her own network now. So it's like, it's one of those things where like literally there are a lot of people who were told no. There are a lot of people who had the insecurity she said she had. I know I had the same things with publishing and doing the things that I'm doing. It's like everybody else is doing it. It's like something about your work, something about your product, something about yours is different. And I truly believe God does not give us these ideas for us just to sit on it. So if you go out there, you put the faith out there to even put yourself out there, I believe he's going to honor that. And he's going to, again, he's going to honor that at a level that is going to be not only a blessing to others, but a blessing to you financially too. I believe that. So what are the products that you make?
Say that again.
What are the products that you make? I know about the facial, what I use is a facial wash, but I feel like there's other products I'm missing. I want to make sure people all know what all you do.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I do add on new things. Another piece of advice someone gave me. Someone did advise that I just start with one thing, and I didn't listen. I did get overwhelmed. So if you're just starting out, listen to people who have done this before. No, start with one thing. Okay. Keep working at that, perfecting in a sense, that thing until you feel comfortable enough to move on and add in another. You can still work on the formula in the background, but before you just put it out there. So I do body washes. So it's not just the liquid black soap. I also make this calming body wash that has lavender and chamomile in it. And I also make what was I? I'm sorry, I just got my daughter just walked by. You get ready for that? Okay. All right. Yes. So and I also make, like I said, the body butters. So I do a plain scented body butter. It is shea butter and coconut oil based body butter. So it is very moisturizing. And I also have other ones with that base, but they have different scents. So my most popular one actually is the Scorpio Desiac body butter. You don't have to be a Scorpio to smell delicious, but you do want to wear Scorpio Desiac to smell delicious. Like literally you smell edible. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. The Scorpio I would make something like that. I would do something like that. And I also make these fragrance oils, these roll-on bottle fragrance oils. One of them is the Scorpio Desiac. Another one, I have chakra balancing crystals inside of the roller bottle. So you're getting, some Reiki healing at the same time that you're putting on some smell goods. I also do other little doodads like sage bundles. I'll wrap the sage bundles with a healing crystal and maybe with some lavender or Palo Santo. It just depends on how creative I am at that time. I've sold a bunch of other things. I've done succulents and small seedling plants and whatever moves me, because I'm a creative, like whatever moves me that season, I'm going to design something different around that.
So I saw Big Bailey, he logged on TikTok. I see Big Bailey. So basically Morenike, O-M-O-R-E, I'm talking to TikTok, Morenike. You can find her on Facebook, on Instagram, Sun Moon Naturally, all that is together. Sun Moon Ministry, that is all together, or Morenike Love, Morenike Love the Poet on Instagram. So check her out and support. So I am just in awe of the fact that, number one, with this whole show that I'm putting on July 13th from 6 to 8 at Rock Bottom Studios, the fact that I have this awesome I think the biggest blessing about this, and I think I shared this on another episode, is I enjoy the fact that I have enough people in my circle that I can reach out and say, hey, do you want to come in? Like I'll admit, initially, Malika wasn't on the list, and I felt bad because I forgot about her. But what's so crazy is Malika did recommend my food vendor, Pasta to Go. She recommended her, and then Malika inboxed me and told me, "Girl, who do you have doing drinks?" And I was like, "Well, Mocktails, and I'll let you know." And we ended up working that out. So every one of these people, I have a personal connection with, which is truly a blessing. I truly recommend, again, if you have the space when you're having an event to bring in vendors, bring in people that you know and help them get their business out there. I don't think people understand the amount it helps to spread the word. Like, for instance, there was something you said earlier that resonated with me. It's like, don't get caught up in the money. And I'll admit, there are times I go back and forth with that. That's a struggle, and that's something where I can work on my faith. And one thing, there was this one particular event that I would volunteer to perform for this particular event. And I would sell maybe 1 or 2 books. And I was like, you know what, bump it. I'm not performing there anymore. And then they reached out to me. It was like, we have 3 more events we want you to perform at. And then finally something just said, just ask them if they have a budget. And she was like, we do. So let me get back to you and let you know how we can work this out. So I'm still waiting to hear what you not do. So it's truly, it's like, don't be so quick to give up on things. And don't to say, well, it's too many people doing that thing, so I don't need to do it. No, there's room for you to do it. There's plenty of room at the table. And that's why I think people realize, a lot of people think God has this small table. Nah, Chief. I mean, it goes all around the world. It's the biggest buffet table ever.
Okay.
That's cool.
The universe will conspire for your good. That is real.
that is real. So I'm telling y'all. So definitely, again, Morenike, check her out. I'm spelling it out for TikTok. Morenike. Make sure you check her out, support her products, and then just I hope that y'all were truly inspired by all of the Women in Business episodes that we had ever since Tuesday. We weren't able to bring every vendor on, which is fine, but I just knew within me, when God gave me the idea, the whole purpose of this is not necessarily to highlight my show, but also its purpose is they're only going to have like a minute or so to go up on the mic and say, this is my business, this is what I have, come to the table if you haven't already. I wanted y'all to hear the journey. I wanted y'all to hear the struggles. I wanted y'all to hear how they rose above those struggles, because I know there's a lot of you out there who aspire to have your own business. And I want you to hear that the same insecurities you're struggling with, they also struggle with, but they power through the same hurdles they maybe had to jump across that you're afraid to even think about jumping across. They have jumped across those hurdles. So I hope you've been inspired. Please, if you're watching in the replay, when it plays again, share it, like it with other people, because we have to pour more people into learning to. And we're not telling everybody to quit their job. It's like Morenike has her own job that she has on the side.
Yeah, don't quit your job now.
Yeah, don't. Now, I'll admit I did, but that's a different story for another day, and we'll talk about that. But be led. Don't. I
do want to talk about that.
So you have to be led on that. So you have to be careful, because even Dee Nicole mentioned earlier, she works for the VA while she makes her earrings on the side. So you have different levels of entrepreneurship where it can be a side hustle until it can be your main hustle. You have some people, it stays their side hustle and it is what it is. So what were you going to say about that?
I definitely want my side hustles to be my main hustle. Definitely, because these are my passions: energy healing, educating people on living more naturally. It's hard to be totally natural, let's be real, but on living more naturally and why it's important. My background actually has always been in healthcare from the beginning. I'm actually a licensed physical therapist, and that's what pays the bills. Let's be real. That's what keeps
Mhm.
the roof over our heads. That's what keeps the lights on and keeps our bellies full.
Mhm.
My side hustles, I'm just putting stuff out there, and I don't want to say hoping and wishing and praying, because we do a lot of that, but that's not really putting the true knowing and the true faith behind it. That's not really faith. That's just, oh, I
Mhm.
think I can. I think I can. Well, you can sit there and think you can forever and ever, but then what? There has to be something to give you that confidence. So the more you do it, just try. That's my other thing I always think in life. Just try. You never know unless you try. And I'm one of those people who, I couldn't stand myself if I didn't at least try something that I
Mm.
really, really wanted to do. If it's something you're passionate about, just try it. You don't have to be a fool about it and just say, well, I'm just going to take all these chances. Put the work in, put the research in. Like we said, ask a lot of questions. There's
Mhm.
so much free information on the internet, but you also have to be careful about what you're looking at on the internet, because sometimes that's misleading. You don't know the source of the information. So I like to go to old fashioned books that have been around for a long time as my sources, or I seek out the elders in our communities who can give us more experience and wisdom.
Mhm.
And I say, tap into your ancestors' knowledge. It's
Mhm.
there. It's there. You really have to listen out for that voice. People say the voice of God. Some people say the voice of my ancestors. It's our own voices when it comes down to it, because there's this universal consciousness. That's a whole nother conversation too. But it's there. So it's there for you. Like you said, God doesn't give us these gifts. I say our ancestors in the universe, but we're not given these gifts to just sit on them and hoard them. We're actually given these gifts to share. That's what
Mhm.
we're here for. That's what it's all about. And I, many times, Ryan, trust me, contemplated just quitting my job, because physical therapy I really got into as a stepping stone. I wanted to
Mhm.
be a holistic doctor. That's what I
Mhm.
really wanted to do. And it turns out I still end up being a holistic practitioner.
Mhm.
So I'm still living my dream. I just took the roundabout way to get to it,
Mhm.
and being a physical therapist has allowed me access to information that I actually needed, and access to meeting all different types of people in all walks of life, so that we could learn from each other.
Mhm.
So that's one of the benefits. So look at the job you're doing, and look at what it is that you really want to do, because the job you're doing may be the thing you need to hold on to part-time or whatever, so that you have access to people. You want to get your information out there and still continue learning. Life is learning is a lifelong process. So
Mhm.
keep doing that.
Yeah.
But for those people who do quit their jobs and go full time for their dream, that is good too. You still made calculated decisions, Ryan. You know,
Mhm.
um, I just have such great feelings about what you're doing. Your voice needs to be heard. I am so
Mhm.
proud of the strides you've made and the things you've done. I mean, you've published, you self-published. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Mhm.
That's amazing. It is
Thank you.
another thing people are afraid to do. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I was told, I want to say around 20, when I was going through my divorce, that's when I actually started discovering some more of my gifts.
Mhm.
Um, hmm, I should remember what year that was. Isn't that crazy? Look, I made sure I forgot about that. Oh my goodness, 2013. Okay, so
Mhm.
2013, I just started writing these inspirational messages to friends and family. and it was just in text form. I'm very long-winded, so some people were telling me, "Hey, that's a lot for a text. You need to just go write that somewhere. Start a blog or something. Stop texting." But my mom and my aunts and friends and cousins, they say, "Girl, you got a book in you. When is this book
Mm-hmm.
coming?" That's what they keep saying. When is this book coming out? And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't do the book yet, but you are inspiring me to get myself together, because I'm always trying to do too much at one time. That's my problem. But get myself together so that I can actually start writing these books, because I
Mm-hmm.
know I have several books in me.
Yeah.
We all have stories. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. And that's one of the joys of what I do. And I greatly appreciate you giving me my flowers. That meant a lot. So it's just one of those things where we have to continue to encourage each other and continue being that light. So every now and again, you'll come across people who will say, you post too much, you do too much, Ryan. But I realize now more than anything is needed, because people need to see the story. They need to see the ups and the downs. I'm not afraid to tell you
Mm-hmm.
um, when I'm not having a good day, when I'm not having a good moment. Crystal just said all this creative magic in the air. Thank you, Crystal. So it's one of those things where literally I don't mind sharing the journey and letting people know, but you have to be mindful and make sure that you're hearing what you're hearing and just don't get out there. Because I've heard people that realize this wasn't meant to do the way they did it, but it sometimes I believe God will do recompense and he'll restore and make things right. But again, you want to do things in order. And what I mean by order, just make sure there's a divine path already laid out for you. If we just listen to the voice, it will be laid out for you. You just have to take the step. And you may not know where your next step will land, but as long as you take it, there's going to be almost, somebody equated this to the Michael Jackson video when he was walking, the steps would light up, the different blocks.
Oh,
What song was that? Was that Billie Jean?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it
was
was.
Billie Jean. So it was like, it's one of those things where once you take each step, it will light up and you know exactly where you're going. So it's just taking that leap of faith, taking that step and going out there. So again, this Sunday, July 13th from 6 to 8 at Rock Bottom Studios. Tomorrow, July 11th, is your last day to purchase the tickets for $15. After that, the link will go down. So feel free, please know if the link goes out. That doesn't mean you can't come to the door. You can come to the door. I'll have my awesome former roses who will be at the door. My mentees, they will be there taking cash. We have tap on pay. I'm gonna put up the banner so y'all can see it. So it's gonna be it's my spoken word showcase, but Shy Moonlight, who was an awesome dope poet, she will be hosting that evening. And then you have my featured poet, who is going to be Wintah Storm. At some point during the night, I will have Ace Sage come on and perform. I want to say it's the last poem, the way I have it set, that he's going to come on and sing with this poem that I created based on this Jamie Wood song. And y'all see what I'm saying when you come there. Rod Foster is accompanying me, which is super dope. One thing I've been forgetting to mention, this Saturday, come out to the Lincoln Tunnel from 6 to 9. I'm just gonna be like, Ryan, how you got a showcase and performance the day before? Originally, my showcase was supposed to be on July the 6th, and then I realized with holiday traffic, who still celebrate the 4th, let me move this back another weekend. So July 12th, the City of Columbia is putting on City Market, where it's gonna be poetry, live music, artisans, food. I will be out there on the table where you can buy my books. I'm also performing. I feel like Crystal and TK is performing also, and some other poets. I don't know the whole roster, but it's free entry, garage parking. There's a parking right on the other side of Lincoln Tunnel. It is $5 to park there, which is a blessing, because they be trying to charge people a whole bunch of money to park downtown.
Yes.
So
I don't even want to go to town no more. It's out of control.
yeah, so they're gonna try to capitalize on $1. Also, I haven't put the flyer up here yet, but I will start posting it July 29th. Taylor Simon is sitting down with me, and we're going to discuss my novel, Reverse. We're having a book talk, my first official book talk with Reverse. So that will be at All Good Books at 6 o'clock on July 29th. And then I feel like there's some more stuff in there, but I'm not even gonna get into it. But have your face in place. July 13th from 6 to 8. My vendors, again, you met Morenike, who is going to have her body butters and her plethora of products, but definitely, I can definitely endorse for the facial. I call it the facial wash, but it's really her body wash. So, which I might have to look into that calming one. Then from there, you got your body butters, your facial products, and your healthy products. Then you go from there, you go to Shatoya White of Infinite Arrays, Decadent Desserts.
Yes.
Have that option. Then you have from there, you have the Margarita Mason, who was making mocktails, who I literally don't even ask for anything. I said, just make me something. And she will come up with something that's always delicious, that is always good. And then from her, you have Naima with it, who is the illustrator of my children's books, Blessing for the World. I can do that graphic up real quick. So she illustrated A Blessing for the World, and she also illustrated Heaven's Jewel. She will be there with her artwork. I'm truly excited to have her there. And then you have Dean Nicole Elmore, who made these earrings. She will have plenty more earrings. Matter of fact, it was announced today that she is going to be a vendor in the International African American Museum in Charleston, South Carolina. So that is huge news, awesome sauce. And then on top of that, you have pasta to go. So you'll be able to get your eat on, you'll be able to get your fashion and your accessory on, you'll be able to get your healthy skin glow on, and you will get your sweet tooth on, along with getting some local art from a local artist to put in your house. So it's so many places and ways to support. If you're not able to support all the vendors, at least support one of them to make sure that we made it worth your time to come out there. But I really appreciate y'all tuning in. But before we go, it would not make sense to have a poet on the live and she don't share some of her poetry. So we're going to close out with a poem from Morenike. You have the floor, and I'm going to take myself up.
I'm going to try to sing a little bit in this one, y'all. Oh, this is brand new. Bear with me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Can I shine my lights? Can I shine my lights? Seems like when I ask permission to shine, I'm denied thrice. And if I sit here hoping and wishing, people look over me and don't even think twice about dismissing me. I mean, why would anyone want to stop my shine? I thought light was a beacon of hope. Like when people say, let me shed some light on the situation. You know, you see ways to cope and not find yourself at the end of your rope, wanting to hang yourself and end it all. The misery of being alone, that is. Yeah, you see how easy it is to go dark when you have no one to shine the lights, to light the spark that keeps you motivated, looking forward to the next day, that reminds you there is a purpose for why you pray, for why you keep searching for that light at the end of the tunnel of sorrow and sadness, of toil and back-breaking work, of trials and tribulations, which you were told was necessary to go through, so you could find the lights, be the lights, share the lights. So you know what? You can't stop my shine, because we need the lights. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And that's that piece, y'all.
I just, she's so amazing. She's so amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, you're so amazing. You really are. So it's y'all, I'm telling you. So please know this will not, as far as this will not be our last time being on the platform. I already told Karen and Brittany that ultimately, and Toya too, what I would ultimately love to have is like a cipher among us, but set up different cameras. It's just a matter of getting my homeboy to shoot it. Darius Dior, who was actually doing the videography on Sunday. So having us do a cipher, I'm also thinking about for my 45th birthday, which is in September, getting someplace where we don't have to pay to be there, just get some food, and that's good enough. And us just perform on stage. So I've been given a suggestion on a venue. So once I get the details, I will let y'all know. And I would love for us to grace the stage and just celebrate each other and all things poetry. Because I really don't want to get in a space. Because I really feel like, if we're honest, Bugsy is trying to pass the torch. Bugsy is trying. So we have to, and I'll admit, I think he's been nudging me like, Ryan, like, girl, sister, I need you to get it together. And I failed to mention him more in detail on the other lives, but I definitely did with Malika. I'm going to do it again. Bugsy Calhoun is the reason why I'm doing this show. I really believe that God used him to keep encouraging me and pushing me. He wouldn't let it go. It was like every blue moon he would bring up, when are you putting on your show? When are you putting on your show? Right? When are you going to do your own show? So, and he even told me, because he's at a place now where him and Karen, aka Wintah Storm, they literally have their own equipment, their own sound equipment. So when they go to places, they have their own stuff. And he let me know, if you need your stuff, you need sound, I got you. Like, don't worry about it. So he's providing the sound. He is the DJ. So it's a full circle moment that I definitely attribute to him being my brother, being my encourager, being my coach. Even when I have some doubts, sometimes I'll inbox him and Karen and just like, what do y'all think about this? And they're like, nah, you got this. Like, trust yourself, just go with it. It's just truly a blessing that this is actually happening. I remember questioning, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And it was like, because you have a gift to share. So I look forward to doing this, not just at the bottom studio, but other venues that are willing to partner with us. Like, I was sharing with somebody years ago, Kiki's, it was, oh gosh, her name was Ebony the Baby Jumper. And she used to host open mic at Kiki's when they were further down 2 notch, closer to where Big Lots used to be. That shop, there's a shopping center parallel to that Big Lots. They used to be there. And I remember Ebony the Baby Jumper used to host. It was free. They just wanted you to buy something. Like, while you're there. And at one point, Tara, when they moved to Park Lane, Katara did it again. So just getting with different businesses and seeing how we can host more poetry events. Because I remember at one point in Columbia, at least once a week, somebody somewhere was hosting something. And we're slowly there. So if I can help that happen.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of finding businesses and getting it out there.
You probably got a suggestion on the same venue that I was going to tell you, but we'll talk about it later. But they're very supportive of our poetry community, and they're in our poetry community actually. But yeah, so there's this movement I see, where we really are trying to come together and find more consistent and supportive spaces
Mm-hmm.
for us to share our art. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
art is needed, it's necessary.
Yes,
So
especially these times.
it's coming together.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming
Mm-hmm.
together. And you're so, oh my goodness. Bugsy Calhoun is one of the reasons why I was brave enough to step up on stage. That was another thing that my daughter and her friend had mentioned, you know, you're a poet. I was like, no, I'm not. I just write. And they said, no, you're getting up on open mic. So we went to the jam session and I just, you know, said my little stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. I'm done. I'm only gonna do this in front of y'all. But yeah, Bugsy came to me one time and I think it was maybe after my second or third piece I had performed at a jam session, and he said, yeah, you're featuring. I said, I'm doing what? What do you mean? No,
I
no.
remember that.
I'm like, no, that's not what I do. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun just being with a very supportive and healing community. Y'all have helped me grow so much from that first time. That was what, early 2022, or I don't even remember anymore. It time is flying by. But then
Mhm.
I had my actual, you know, fuller feature with Chriso. And that was February of this year. That was so much fun. I
Mhm.
think when people who don't get into poetry and arts and probably still think it's corny, when they don't actually go to the shows, they just don't know how much love is in there and
Yeah.
how much it inspires you to do other things. You know, if you look at someone who looks just like you up on the stage, you start realizing, when you hear their stories, you start realizing, oh, you're a regular human being. That means I can do this too. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, you can. Yes,
And
you can. That's all it takes.
there's a level, like, we have to get back to a space where we find those sacred spaces, because I'm realizing over the years you had to be very careful when you had your events, because there were some people that didn't respect the mic. And one thing I can say consistently about what the jam session is that is hosted by Bugsy Calhoun, that happens at the House of Hawthorne once a month, is that it is true. You have a captivated audience. I don't care if it's 5 people there or 50 people there. You're going to get the same, especially if Wintah Storm, aka Karen
The
Washington, is in
cheerleader.
the building. You're going to get the same reaction, the same love, the same celebration. And Bugsy is really good about, when he sees talent, he's going to put you on. And that's what I
Yeah.
love about him. I celebrate him. So Chriso said poetry Voltron out there here. You're definitely right about that, sir. So I appreciate those of y'all who are joining in and taking part in this discussion. Again, I not hope, I will see your face in the place July 13th from 6 to 8 at Rock Bottom Studios. I'm going to put the flyer up one more time so y'all can get the information and write it down. You can go on Eventbrite to learn about it. You can also go on my website. If you go on my website, it will take you to Eventbrite. Again, it says on there, Eventbrite, $20 at the door. You're going to have also opportunity to partake in some awesome food, some mocktails, some artwork. There is no limit to what you can experience on Sunday. And I look forward to seeing y'all there. And just thank y'all for joining me, and continue to have a good night.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Ryan.
You're welcome. I'm going to end the stream.